All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty cool,
Yeah.
I think, at least for me. We're looking at this Hindi motivational podcast called
Oh, yeah.
Sapno Ko Jagao? Ik Pranayik Podcast.
I've heard of this one.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah, yeah.
It translates to, like, Awaken the Dreams, an inspirational podcast. And
Nice.
I've got to say, just going through it, even before talking to you, I was so drawn in. Like, the whole idea of it is stories of,
Yeah.
people overcoming these massive challenges to
Yeah.
achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to kind of get your take on all this.
Well, I think it's really interesting how the podcast plays into this,
Yeah.
I don't know, like this almost cultural fascination in India with resilience, like these stories of perseverance, they're kind of everywhere, It's not just entertainment. It's really like woven into the fabric of society and like meant to empower people.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And even like the music they use,
Oh, yeah.
like, before each story starts to unfold, it really builds this sense of anticipation, like adds to the impact.
For sure. For sure.
But one of the things that really stood out to me going through all of this
Yeah.
was this recurring theme
Yeah.
of turning a weakness into a strength.
Oh, absolutely.
And like the one that comes to mind immediately is the story of
Yeah.
the boy who becomes this incredible athlete
Yeah.
despite having a disability. What did you think about that one?
Oh, I mean, that one's powerful. I think it really highlights, how powerful perspective can be,
Yeah.
right? Because instead of focusing on what he couldn't do, he focused on,
Right.
what he could do. And he really used that to,
Totally.
to kind of propel himself forward.
Totally.
It's really about reframing, right?
Yeah, and I feel like that story particularly speaks to that. How
Exactly.
our perception of what is an obstacle can either be
Oh, yeah.
limiting or it can actually be empowering, like in his case.
Totally, totally.
And then, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but then we go right into the story. And
Yeah,
the girl, from a poor family who ends up becoming a doctor.
that one's great.
And I wonder, that one to me feels,
Yeah.
I don't want to say more universal, but how do you think?
I think it's definitely universal. I think it's that,
Yeah.
that theme of upward mobility, right? Breaking through whatever circumstance you're born into. It's kind
Right, like a socioeconomic.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a really powerful story, I think, no matter where you are.
It's true, but it also kind of highlights the challenges, right?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, especially, in a place like India where
definitely.
educational access and all those things can be.
Yeah, and that's, I think, I don't know if it's intentional, but it feels like kind of a subtle call to action in the podcast,
I was wondering about that.
Like it highlights those individual achievements, but it also,
Right.
makes you think about the broader
Right.
system, right?
Totally. And how can we make it better for everyone?
Exactly.
It's crazy how these very personal stories can spark this
Yeah.
much larger conversation about, societal change.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that kind of leads into like the overall message of the podcast, which is never give up on your dreams.
Yes.
No matter what obstacles you face.
Yeah, and it's not even just about dreaming, right? It's about taking action. Like they really end with this call to action.
Totally.
Like find that fire in you and persevere until you reach your goals,
Like don't just sit there and think about it. Go do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. And honestly, I feel like we've only just
Yeah, there's a lot there.
scratched the surface here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so rich,
Yeah, yeah. But unfortunately, we're out of time, so I'll leave you with this call.
Okay.
Think about these stories and how they reframe limitations as strengths. And ask yourself, what's one challenge, just one in your own life that, if you thought about it differently, could actually help you get closer to your own dreams? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya.